Partners.
Am I right?
That is the name of the 4th episode of Hawkeye, which is now out on Disney+. So now I talk about it with spoilers. That is a spoiler warning. If you have not watched this episode yet, do not watch this video. You have been warned. Yep, alright, disclaimers out of the way within the first 15 seconds of this video. Let's go. So this episode, it wasn't as fun as the last episode. It was a good one though. And of course, I would love to just jump right to the end, but patience, we will get there. So we start where the last episode left off, in Eleanor Bishop's apartment, and we're caught by Jack Duquesne, and it turns out that Eleanor is there as well. And so during this whole first scene where we're talking with Jack and Eleanor, Jack Duquesne is totally acting like a nice guy. And I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you, but I'm not buying it for 1 second. I'm not. We've seen villains like this before where they're posing as nice guys and in the end they turn out to be assholes. Yeah, that's totally this guy here. That mustache gives it away. That Three Musketeers mustache is giving me bad juju. I mean, he's dancing with Eleanor, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. I was like, man, this is gonna break her heart when he turns out to be a douche. I'm just saying, that's not gonna end well. There is one thing we find out when Clint calls home. I mean, not just the fact that Lara can apparently speak German. That was a shock. But she knows that Clint was the Ronin. Cause she mentions, oh yeah, I thought your fancy outfit was lost too. So yeah, she knows. But of course she knows. She's his wife. Clint wouldn't keep a secret like that from her. So now I'm curious to see if the kids know. Probably not. I think it would make the kids real uneasy if they found out that their dad was a killer for 5 years. So yeah, they probably don't know. But folks, this is the episode. I knew something like this would come along in this series because this is a thing that's pretty much mandatory in every Christmas show, movie, whatever. And that is, of course, the Christmas montage. Clint Barton and Kate Bishop are hanging out in Kate's apartment with the puppy, and Kate's like, all right, I brought Christmas movies and ugly sweaters. We're gonna hang out and you're gonna teach me how to do some cool tricks, including that snap thing, which I don't get. When Kate finally did it, I was like, that's CG. That was a bummer. But it felt good though, because I was like, aw, Clint's finally warming up to Kate. We knew it would happen eventually, because that's what this whole series was pitched as, but it did feel good to see. I mean, not only is this montage just the fun Christmas stuff, but also they're coming up with a plan to stop Jack Duquesne, because it turns out after Clint did a little digging that, yeah, Jack is a douchebag. He's the CEO of a company that laundered money for the Tracksuit Mafia, Sloan Ltd. Now we just need the evidence. All right, cool. We're making some progress little by little. But yeah, you know what? I think it's about time I got around to talking about this because this aspect of the show has been in it since episode 1, and that is the puppy dog. Yeah, this adorable golden retriever with an eye missing. This is actually a nod to the comics. In a certain Hawkeye comic run, there was a golden retriever dog that they named Lucky, but here, I don't think this dog is named Lucky yet. I imagine he will be by the end, but for now we're calling him Pizza Dog because he likes pizza, which who can blame him? Pizza's been my favorite food for as long as I can remember. Come on, who doesn't love a good old-fashioned
pizza time?
But in all honesty, this dog is really adorable. So far though, I'm not really getting his purpose in the show. He's just there to be cute. Hopefully he will have some relevance by the end though. But things start getting serious when Kate asks Clint about the best shot he ever took in his life. And his answer is the one he didn't take. And he starts talking about the moment he met Natasha Romanoff, which we heard her mention and talk about in the first Avengers movie. She told Loki about it.
He made a different call.
I mean, throughout this series, we have seen that Clint Barton is really suffering from survivor's guilt, withdrawal. He really is sad. He's more sad about Natasha's death than he is about Tony Stark's death, but I can't blame him for that. I do feel really bad for him. Again, you think back to that scene in Avengers Endgame, which they flash back to in this episode, actually. Clint was begging Natasha not to let herself go. He was crying, and so now, 2 years later, he has to deal with the fact that his best friend died right in front of him, by choice. That just really blows. But also, during this heart-to-heart scene, Kate finds out that Clint was the Ronin. She just figures it out, like Adrian Toomes found out that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. Just by logic and deduction, she was able to figure it out. I always appreciate that. And this whole Ronin thing, this is the reason that Clint is even doing this mission, which I was actually wondering for a while. Like, why doesn't Clint just get around to this later? Just go home for Christmas, spend the season with the family, then get back to it. But no, Clint has to do this because the Tracksuit Mafia is tied to the Ronin. This whole thing is tied to his family. So Clint has to resolve this. It's for his sake and his family's sake, and really the sake of everyone he cares about. Alright, well, I buy that. That's really good. That's actually really good storytelling. So the scene the next morning where he confronts Kazi, actually this scene was pretty funny, because Kazi gets in the car and Clint's like, surprise, I got your gun, I got your knife. Classic funny confrontational case. Clint mentions the top boss, he's like, yeah, I'm sure he doesn't like all this attention he's getting, but that's the only mention this top boss gets in this whole episode. I'm sure he'll be revealed in the finale. But also, it seems like Clint is showing a certain concern for Maya Lopez, because he's like, yeah, her drive is gonna get her killed. She doesn't know how deep into this she is. Someone's gotta warn her. It's not gonna be me. She won't listen to me. It's gotta be you, Kazi. So right there, I was like, okay. I'm guessing this is the beginning of Maya Lopez's redemption or something. Since she is gonna get her own show, that would make sense. Maybe in the finale of this season, Maya Lopez will turn good or something, and she'll end up fighting against the big boss. I don't know. That would be cool though. And so later on, we actually get some more time with those LARPers from the second episode, who I never thought we'd see again. But we actually figure out the reason they were ever in this show to begin with. Cause Kate mentions, hey, you get some gear for us, and Clint and I will provide you with gear to make some really cool outfits. And so right there I was like, okay, those badass purple outfits that we saw Clint and Kate wear in the trailer, I guess those are gonna be made by these LARPers. It's gonna be like a Netflix Daredevil season 1 thing where we don't get the full outfit until the last episode. I imagine that's gonna be a pretty sick reveal. Plus, it's gonna be so purple. So alright, now we're at the end of this episode where it gets pretty badass. Cause we get word, oh yeah, that Rolex that the Tracksuit Mafia stole in the second episode, or was it the first? In any case, we know where it is now, and so Clint and Kate go to retrieve it. It turns out this Rolex, whatever significance it has, it belongs to someone that Clint used to work with. I imagine it has something to do with Clint's time as Ronin during the blip. Man, a lot of cogs working in this series, I'll say that. But it turns out, oops, this is Maya Lopez's apartment. I mean, the fact that we see that she's taking notes on Clint's family, that's bad news. Damn, Echo. What is your beef with Clint? But yeah, Echo shows up and we have a little bit of a throwdown between her and Kate Bishop. Meanwhile, Clint, on a rooftop across the street, is dealing with some other new attacker. I wonder who this could be. This picture was actually revealed a few days ago in a TV spot, and even looking at it then, I was like, I know exactly who that's gonna be. Yeah, boy, finally! I mean, she uses those Black Widow stings, the Black Widow bites, whatever they're called. And actually, I didn't think we were gonna see her face in this episode. But no, Clint Barton rips off her mask, and yup, it's Yelena Belova. Florence Pugh returns from the Black Widow movie, and it was pretty badass to see her again. I mean, she has this pissed off look on her face. And Kate Bishop can take the shot, but she doesn't. She just lowers her bow, letting Yelena Belova get away, kind of mirroring how Clint mentioned he didn't take the shot at Natasha when he first met her. I like that parallel, actually. That's a good detail. So yep, Yelena Belova is in the mix now. Can't wait to see what she's actually gonna do in this series. But after that, Clint's like, alright, this just got very real. Very quickly. Someone has hired a Black Widow assassin. Someone. Valentina. What is her deal? Honestly, she's like one of the most intriguing aspects of the MCU right now. Cause I don't know. What organization is she working for? I guess we'll find out eventually. Maybe she's a Skrull. But anyway, Clint's like, yeah, alright, so long, Kate. You're gonna die because that was a Black Widow. I gotta do this alone. Go home and live your life. This is like, you know, the down point of their relationship. Happens in every Disney movie, where it's like, oh no, all hope is lost. These two main characters are gonna part ways. They'll come back together, probably at the end of the 5th episode or the beginning of the last episode, if I had to guess. But in conclusion, this episode was pretty cool. I love seeing Yelena Belova again, even if she doesn't say anything, just seeing that face again in the MCU. Cause she was my favorite thing in the Black Widow movie. So sue me, I'm looking forward to seeing what she does in her second outing. Remember, in the MCU, it's been quite a few years since the events of the Black Widow movie. What's Yelena been up to all that time? I want to know. And how is it going to connect with Clint Barton and Kate Bishop's mission? And the Tracksuit Mafia, if it does it all? My one concern is that we only have 2 episodes left. And like I said, there are a lot of cogs turning in this series. We have Echo, we have the Tracksuit Mafia, we have the top boss, now we have Yelena Belova, we have Jack Duquesne and Eleanor. A lot of things to deal with, and only 2 episodes to go. I hope they're longer than just 40 minutes. I don't know. Maybe I should have more faith. But until then, the 4th episode of Hawkeye titled Partners.
Am I right?
Have you watched it yet? What do you think about it? And what do you think they're gonna do with Yelena Belova now? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to an early screening of West Side Story tonight. I can't wait. I've been looking forward to this movie all year. Peace!